Hello, review your options. Today we are going to take a look at the V-Prep Mandoline Slicer from Swissmar. This is a mandolin that is made in Germany. It has had very high ratings on Amazon. I've been eyeing it for several years. I wanted to get it and finally test it out. It tells you that it includes a multifunction bowl for safe and convenient storage, safe and easy to use. It says we have the multifunction bowl, which holds everything, it looks like, and then catches everything when you slice it. It has the patented safety holder to, it looks like, hold the fruit and vegetable in place for you. You actually can get, it looks like, Julienne insert, or Julienne cuts, as well as just a slice insert. And it's got a stainless steel blade. So here's our instruction manual, which I apparently have the table wet. We've got instructions in English. It walks you through everything, all of the pieces, how to use the safety holder, how to turn it in relation to the bowl and the blade. It tells you how to do thick slicing, thin slicing, how to use the Julienne insert, and how to dice and cube cuts. How to clean here, and then it looks like it has a 1-year guarantee against defects, and there's a warranty card here. This is your slicer. Looks like your thick Julienne insert, your slicing inserts without blade, your thin inserts, your holder, and of course your bowl. Alright, I am today gonna try out the V-Prep slicer, and so I've got a potato and a couple of tomatoes, an onion, and a carrot, and already I've messed up. With onions, you are supposed to leave the root end intact because that is where the safety holder, that's what the safety holder is supposed to hold on to, the root end, but we'll see how it goes without that. So the first thing we do is we have our main slicing section. We're going to put this in the bowl, which is what they call the specialty bowl. But you put that in here, you've got a little dip in this end where it's made for this end of the slicer. And you're going to rest that in there, and then you can just lift it whenever you're ready to slice. And so then the food will fall through the blades and down into the bowl. I'm going to try this with the tomato first. This is a tomato fresh from our garden. I'm not sure how it'll work. So you've got these. What we're going to do is push the tomato up onto the holder there so that it will not stay in there and support it on its own, but basically once you've got the fruit in there, you turn the handle, so that the arrows are parallel to the slicer itself, and then you make a smooth slicing motion, and that is actually working beautifully. I can feel it. And you just gradually push that button down that's holding your tomato, or whatever you're holding at the time, until you get to the very bottom, and then you'll have just this tiny little bit. That's all I had left of that tomato. And you can see in here, those are actually some beautiful tomato slices. They're very thin. I probably should have used the thick one, but I'm going to dry these tomato slices. But look at that. That is a beautiful slice. I can never get a tomato slice like that using my knives. No matter how sharp they are, I am just not that good. Okay, so that was the thin slicer. I'm actually going to try the thick-sided slicer this time. Now all this is, it's the same insert in the blade set, but this is the thin slicer, and it tells you on the end that it's the thin slicer. But basically you flip it over, and then it's the thick slicer. And you just kind of slide it into place. It locks in beautifully right there. So I'm going to try that on my next tomato. Now this tomato, you can kind of see, is really big, so it barely fits in there. So if I had a larger one, I'd have to probably cut it in half to try to start with. But we're just going to do it. And again, turn things so your arrows are running parallel to the slicer. Oh my goodness. And this bowl that catches everything for you is wonderful because, of course, tomatoes are juicy, which is what makes them wonderful. But, you know, you have a lot of juice that gets caught in there. And that is a perfect sandwich slice, in my opinion. Perfect. Wonderful. A couple of things here. You can see I've got them on my dehydrator tray ready to go. These are the thicker slices and these are the thinner slices. These are actually perfect, the thinner ones, for dehydrating. The thicker ones will be too. They'll take longer. But the thicker ones really will be great for sandwiches. I wanted to point out the manual that comes with this tells you that you can wash everything, just rinse it. It's easy cleanup. It is dishwasher safe on the top rack, but you can just rinse it. So far, that is actually the case with the tomatoes. All I did was run it under a little water and it is completely clean except for that spot right there, which I overlooked. You can wash it really quickly, not even have to worry about the dishwasher, to be honest. And it is recommended that you do not wash it with soapy water, just so you don't accidentally cut yourself in the water. It is very, very sharp, which is exactly what you want, of course. And here I've got the onion. I realized too late that I had cut the root end off because that is where you're supposed to stick on here to help make it work a little bit better. We're gonna see how this works though, with it cut in half. So that's beautiful. Again, it's hanging up a little bit more than the tomato, but that stands to reason, given the onions are a little tougher. But they came out really well. Again, these are thick slices because I forgot to switch it over to thin. So you've got nice thick onion slices, which my husband will love for his sandwich. Those are beautiful. And there is a trick. If you want to dice, you can put the fruit on here and then you slice. I think it's a perpendicular to the pins in here. And then that way when you run it over the blade, it will actually just fall out as dice into your bowl. But if you want to give that a shot, please do and tell us in the comments how that worked out for you. Next up is our potato. I'm gonna use the thin slicer on. So we pushed it on there and you can see when you push it all the way on the pins, your handle's gonna be up here and then you just slowly slide that down as you slice. All right, and let's see how this works on the thin slicer. And again, because I'm doing this long way just because of the size of the thing, you will need to be careful not to lose your hold on it and, you know, cut yourself. So do be careful when doing that. You can see it's just slicing beautifully. And this is once you get to this point where your holder is rubbing the plastic, then you start pushing down on that plunger part of the holder to move down that potato, because the slicer is actually designed, the pins do not actually go below your plastic holder here, so they won't get in the way, they won't hit the blade or anything. And so this is your thinly sliced potato, which I think is beautiful. I love making fried potatoes, but I always have a problem because I am horrible at slicing evenly and consistently, and these are absolutely beautiful. There are no instructions in the booklet about how to handle differently shaped fruits and vegetables. So I've got a carrot and I'm trying to figure out what to do. What I'm going to do, it tells you if you were doing something like a mushroom, you would put it on a plate and then lower the holder over it to get the pins in there. I thought I was going to do that, but oh, there we go. My platter has a lip. So I'm going to do that as much as I am able because of the size of it. We'll see what happens. Notice I have just cleaned and scrubbed the carrot. I haven't peeled it. Now, this is the same as the thin or the thick slice. So the Julienne is just, this is the thin Julienne insert. There's a thick Julienne insert. So this works just the same way as just the thin slice insert or the thick slice. So you just slide it in. It's very clear right here and here. You just slide it in and it clicks into place. You have your holder. Make sure your arrows are running parallel to the blade and just slice. And I'm gonna stand up so my wrist is not too close down there. And so that last slice didn't come out so great, but let's take a look at the rest. Oh, that is beautiful. So you have these beautiful little carrot shreds. Actually, I had a long carrot and I cut it in half. So let's try the other half. We do have probably half the carrot did not actually get properly sliced there, but you know what? We'll work on that. We're just kind of trying things out. Wondering if the larger carrot will do, although we can't hold it in place like that. So what I would need to do here is slice. I'm gonna have to chop off an edge of the carrot just a little bit there, an end of the carrot. So I'm impatient and I chopped off a little bit of the end, but not enough, and so it wouldn't fit in here nicely. I just went like this, like I did with the potato. Probably not really safe, so do exercise caution if using it like this, please. And of course this will come out with very short little strips, but that's okay. And this may not actually work for the carrot because of the carrot is kind of giving way in there. We're learning things as we go. So I'm going to chop off some more of the carrot. Finally, I cut it down short enough so you see it basically fits really well in here and here. A little off kilter, but let's try this. And again, you get down to that last little bit and it doesn't really do that great a job. You only get about half the carrot in there. Good, it's better than none of the carrot, but you're going to end up with a lot of waste. So if you're going to do this, if you want shredded carrots, it might be best if you're planning to use carrots in a couple of things, where say diced in one and shredded in another. So you can have your Julienne carrots, and then you can dice up, really a substantial amount is left over on this one. So you can dice those up maybe and throw them in a soup or a stew, possibly. I have now sliced 2 tomatoes, a potato, a carrot, and an onion. I decided to try just rinsing the pieces. It really did work beautifully. There is just a little bit of staining here from the carrot, which that will happen. I don't know that even running that through a dishwasher would take that off. That's just the beta carotene and the carrot kind of staining it there. Now what is nice about this, as I've used it and seen this, is that these blades, these are fixed. It's not like on a food processor or some other thing where you're changing blades. Those blades are fixed. The only thing that you change out are the inserts. So you've got your Julienne, your thin Julienne insert, which is a 3.5 millimeter. Your thick Julienne insert, which is a 7 millimeter. And again, you can kind of see that the thin one is also stained by the carrot. There's not really any scrubbing, I think, that's going to get that off of there. That's just carrots can do that. And then you've got your thin slide insert and your thick slide insert. And the beauty of this particular set, there are other sets that we looked at for Julienne that they had very sleek designs, and those were all well and good, except with all the blades we were wondering about how to store them. And this is actually a very nice set because it is designed to hold everything in the bowl itself. You can easily fit everything in there. Even store it upside down if you want. And put the lid on it. There you go. You've got the lid in place. Now, it does not lock into place very well, so, I mean, you heard it kind of click into place there, but it doesn't really stay, so you just very lightly lift. So you will still want to keep it up somewhere where it's not going to get knocked around, and that lid, so that lid can fall off easily and rain sharps everywhere, but it does actually store pretty well. If you want, you know, you could probably put some tape on there if you wanted to, if you were going to store it for a long time, but I don't foresee this being put away for very long at a time. It is just too easy to use and too easy to clean.